you don't even think about what you're doing. You're basically just like, yeah, man, I'm cruising. Howdy everybody, welcome back to Sunday Coffee, Guitars and Tones. If you're new to the show, this is the talk show of the week. Yeah, there's no playing on this one. If you clicked expecting playing today, then wrong video. That's earlier in the week. Go and check out my last video, or well, there are many videos of me playing, so please do go and enjoy that. But Sunday is our hangout time. It's our chill out time. It's our kind of just drink a coffee time. Yeah! So cheers, guys. It's really great to see you again. Well, virtually anyways. And you guys can see me. Yeah. I wish I could see you. I wish this was a two-way thing. That would be so cool, wouldn't it? Anyways, sip of coffee. Oh, that's gorgeous. My mocha. Yep. Now, just one thing about coffee. This is amazing, by the way. It tastes absolutely fantastic because I put way too much hot chocolate in here. But that's the way I roll, baby. Well, today, anyways. But anyways, somebody did point out that, look, my mugs. I really need to get my mug game going because I keep using my Beatles mugs. And, you know, my channel's not really known for me playing Beatles. Although, yeah, I bet you didn't expect that, right? I did that a few years ago. That was a real blast to do. And about 3 people watched it. Honestly, you know, because my channel isn't known for that stuff, it didn't really do that great in terms of views or anything. But man, I love playing it. And look, I have a really good friend in Los Angeles. My brother, Raj, he's like a brother to me. He always has been. And, you know, he's a huge Beatles fan. I did it for him. So that one's for you, my brother. Yeah, it's for Raj. And yeah, Beatles mug as well for Raj. Anyways, I do need to get some new mugs, which are a little bit more rock and roll. And somebody did suggest that I need a Sunday Coffee, Guitars and Tones mug. What do you think? Yay? 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 If you'd be interested in one of them, leave a comment below and let me know, because I would love to know if you guys are interested in that. I think I'm going to get one made just for myself anyways, but if you guys would like one, maybe I can do something. Anyways, I hope you've all had an incredibly good week. This week's been phenomenally cool for deliveries. Yeah, tons of stuff has turned up, including a mountain. A mini mountain. Now this one, I could not sneak past the wife. You will get to see what's in this mountain in a couple weeks time when I do the unboxing video. Trust me, you want to see it because stuff is installed in the studio already. I can see it out of my peripheral vision. You guys can't. I've been playing it today and man, oh goodness, it is so super cool what turned up. But some other stuff turned up as well. So there's going to be lots of videos coming along. And it kind of got me thinking this week about whether it's the gear that actually inspires me or sparks creativity, or it's the tone that sparks creativity, or a little bit of both. What do you guys think? Let me know in the typies. You know, I got thinking about this because every time I get a new piece of gear, a new song basically comes out of it, a new track, composition, whatever you want to call it. But something comes out of it. As soon as I plug into a piece of gear, just something happens. You know, it sparks creativity. And I end up writing a new tune. I did that earlier today. I actually installed the mountain in the studio, plugged into the mountain, and within literally a few minutes, I'm writing a new song. It's like, what? How does that happen? And it's the coolest thing. I love that it does happen. And I'm really grateful for it. You know, I've spoken about kind of, writing music and stuff on my Sunday shows. And today was a really great example because there was zero effort, there was zero barriers, there was zero resistance. It was literally just start playing, something comes out, and it's like literally within a few minutes, I'd figured out the full composition. And I was like, this is super cool. I'm going to record this later this afternoon, actually. Yeah, I'm going to start laying it down. It's for a video in 2 weeks' time from like yesterday. But I'm still going to record it now because the ideas come, and the piece of gear that I was plugged into, it sparked that creativity. Now, sometimes I do find that gear doesn't spark that creativity because it's kind of, doesn't feel good or doesn't sound good or something. Then everything kind of shuts down a little bit. But that's just me. I know a lot of people can basically just pick up like, a plank of wood with a single string on it, right? And basically they're writing music all day long. That ain't me, but there are people who can do that. And I just find that absolutely amazing. So it's just a really, really interesting thing. And I get to exercise this muscle every single day, every single week. And I really enjoy doing that. Seeing what comes out of the piece of gear or the tone that I am playing, or a combination of that. It's usually a combination because the more comfortable I am, I find the better that I compose, because like I said, there are no kind of barriers. There's no resistance. The flow is just happening. I get into that flow state. And that's a lovely, lovely place to be, I think. So, yeah, I think for me, it can be either or a little bit of both. It's always zen when it's both because, hey, then you just go straight to it. Take this guitar, for example. I built this, a month ago or something? A month and a half, 2 months, whenever it was, right? But this was my custom build from Parts, K&E body, neck, which I bought in China, which was a real pain in the neck. Pun intended. This took a lot of work to actually get playing the way it does. But now, every time I pick it up, it just kind of allows me to just create. And where does that creation come from? That, that creative spark? It must be a combination of all of our experiences over our lifetime and the ether, the universe sending us kind of stuff, and just us picking up little bits and pieces here and there, right? It's totally fascinating. I find this whole thing just absolutely absorbing, which is, hey, why I'm talking about it today to you guys. So, what's your process anyways? Message on my computer. I don't know what it is. I don't care because I'm hanging out with you guys today. Cheers, guys. So yeah, what's your process when you're kind of like creating? Whether it's music, whether you're actually building something, maybe a guitar or an amp, or drawing, painting, artwork, writing, cooking, whatever it is. I'd love to know. I'd really love to know. Because it's a central part of life as well, I think. It's a central part of my life. And it doesn't even have to be a piece of gear or a tone or anything. It can be anything. You could be walking along and hear a conversation, or you could hear a piece of music, or watch a movie. It can come from anywhere. Just being outside in nature. Man, this has happened for millennia, right? An artist says, I was just out in nature and suddenly something came to me. That's the way it works, And often what I do find is when there's no resistance, right, there's no thinking involved. There's no kind of like, trying to figure things out. It literally is kind of just a connection to whatever creativity and inspiration is out there. So, you kind of suspend your logical mind for a second and everything just starts to flow slightly differently and more naturally as well. They're the best days. When I think about it, when I'm playing a piece of gear, I know that's applicable to me, but when I'm playing a piece of gear which inspires me, or hear a tone that inspires me, I often hear music just on, like, a TV show or film or something, and my mind will be writing a song after that, because it's like, wow, that's really cool. I've just come up with something in my head. I need a guitar, but I'm in a movie theatre. Damn it! That's just how my mind works. Often it won't wait until you say, yeah, I'm ready. All right, send me something. It'll just be like, Brr. Here you go. Do something with it now. I'm kind of lucky in that way, because, I can basically just run into the studio, grab a guitar, and there's usually a guitar in the other room and in my living room as well, so I can just grab it from there and just figure something out. But I know, if people are working or you're driving or etc., then you can't get to it immediately. But, at those times, what I do is I just write in my head. I'll play it over and over, and I'll figure it out in my mind, and I'll visualize it almost, and I'll hear it, how the whole track comes together, the composition comes together. And it's just a lovely, lovely thing to do. I think it's one of the most wonderful things I get to experience in my life. I hope you guys do as well. And I know most of you guys who are watching my channel are musicians, and you follow along with what I do. And I've been told so many times that just the way I am, my attitude towards life, the positive outlook, the glass half full thing, it inspires you, and maybe that sparks creativity as well. I know it does for me when I actually experience people who are like this as well, which I've been lucky enough to experience quite a few people like that. It does actually start to spark that flame, that creativity just goes, whew, because it kind of raises your energy, right? I'm not just talking about spiritual or metaphysical or anything like that, although, for me, that's a big thing, right? And I do believe that happens, right? But even just physically, you just feel physically better. You feel happier, you feel lighter. When that happens, like I said, earlier, the resistance goes. And when the resistance goes, then things start to basically just happen. If you think about like something like an everyday task, like driving. Remember the first time that you were behind the wheel? And you had to think about everything. You're gripping the steering wheel really tight, and you've got to change a gear. And if you're doing a stick shift, and which, if you're in the UK, we had to do like manual transmission, right? And if you're in America or other part of the world, you may have had automatics. But if you had to do stick shift, you've got to kind of think about it and reach down to it. And you've got to look at the mirrors and kind of make sure that you're not going to crash into anything. And there's a million things going on, right? If you've been driving for a while, right, you get into a car, right, and you're at your destination. You don't even think about what you're doing. You're basically just like, yeah, man, I'm cruising. You can basically change the radio. You can do this, you can do that, put your window down, change the aircon, whatever. It doesn't even faze you. So it becomes a lot easier to do. And I guess creativity in music is like that as well. It does get easier as you basically become more familiar with it, and it becomes an automatic reaction, But that automatic reaction doesn't have to squash your inspiration or your creativity. I think it can spark it, it can fuel it. Because you can stay in that energy. When you feel that energy, you can stay in it. That's where I live. That's why I'm so upbeat all the time, because that's the place that I want to be. Yeah, that's the place I want to be, because it is a phenomenally cool place to be. And also, it helps my YouTube channel. This is a really cool subject, isn't it? I know lots of people say that they're not creative, but I always find that people are creative. They just don't realize what they're creative in. It's kind of like talking to somebody who's great at electronics, right? Often I'll talk to a technical person like that, and they'll, when we get onto the subject of music and writing music and stuff, they say, I'm not very creative. But then they'll go and build something like a phenomenal guitar amp. And I think that's extremely creative to do. You know, I can't just think it up in my head and basically kind of then write it down on a piece of paper, then get the parts and make it happen. Because I'm still at the early stages of like guitar building and stuff. You know, I can do it from a kit, or if somebody sends me instructions and schematic and stuff, I can definitely get the parts together and things. But designing a circuit, that's something I haven't done. Maybe I should actually. How cool would that be if I actually did it from scratch? Man, that would be very, very, very cool. What would I build actually? Because the thing is, right, I actually have my dream complement of amps right next to me here. So you'd be like, whoa, what am I actually going to build? I have everything already. But anyways, I'm kind of getting off the subject. But like I said, that person, I would say to them, well, you're creative, but you're creative in electronics because I can't do what you can do. Whereas they would say to me, well, you're creative in music because you can do something I can't do. And I think this is true for everybody. We all have that creative spark within us. We just apply it to different things. So, yeah, that's why I'm fascinated by this, and I'd love to know what your creative spark goes into. Might be, you know, something which is completely unrelated to music. And because of what I do for a living, I get to do this all the time and keep allowing that creative spark to, you know, burst into flames. And I think that's really important as well. You know, I remember when I was younger and I didn't have so much gear and I didn't have a lot of money to spend on gear, I was still kind of like writing music and coming up with solos and things like that. Even if it was on a really budget guitar and didn't have an amp, I was just playing through like a Pod 2.0 or something like that, I could still utilize it because at that time, that gear inspired me. It was that spark. It keeps coming back to that thing. You know, and we don't have to spend a lot of money on this. Trust me. It's like I said earlier, somebody with just a plank of wood with a string on it, putting a pickup on it, then plugging into like just an amp, they can make music. Yes, it's quite possible. You know, we don't have to have like tons and tons of gear, but I do find that when you have great gear, which you really enjoy playing, then it takes away the barriers. Like I said, it takes away all the resistance and everything flows a lot more and nicer and sweeter. And the music that comes out is just ever, 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 ever so cool. So yeah, that's my thought for this Sunday. What do you guys think? Let me know. I'd really love to know. Some food for thought, even for myself, because I'm going to go away and think about this now. Yep. And drink my coffee. And enjoy it. Alrighty, guys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please do subscribe to the channel. There is a new video coming out in a few days' time, which I know you're going to adore, and I know you're going to want to see the unboxing of that mountain. So definitely subscribe, click the bell notification, and stay tuned. All right, have a great Sunday, guys and girls. Cheers, and I'll see you soon with another one. Bye for now.